Hey everybody, how you doing? This is HeavyWater77, all things, everything sticks. I am one half of this show, of this beautiful, look at these pictures, man. Look at these faces, man. These some beautiful faces. One's a lot younger and one's a lot older. Sorry, Joe, you're older than I'm just kidding. I'm the older
Yeah,
one
and
here.
I
But
feel it some days.
yeah. But anyway, my co-host Joseph Staub, how you doing, brother?
Doing great. Uh, we're getting into an interesting era of this podcast. Let's say we've
Yeah,
covered the classics. We started into some of the questionable stuff. Now we're going to dive headlong into some stuff that most people probably have never even heard of.
right. And that is we're going to be talking about, we just did Courtney Act, the video and the album, and what a kind of a disappointment it was to both of us and our guest, Mark Alden Taylor. Thank you for being on there. So we're going to, I guess there was a time where I guess Tommy did officially leave the band, but I don't think the band was ever disbanded. I don't think. I think it was always maybe a possibility for at least for Dennis and JY and the Panazos. But we get three solo albums from these guys. We got Dennis's Desert Moon, Tommy's Girls with Gun, and JY City Slickers coming up next. So, with that being said, the first one released was this one, Dennis DeYoung's Desert Moon. What do you got on some background on this album, man?
Yeah, so we talked about with Caught in the Act that came out right at the beginning of '84. So kind of following through with they had released and toured Kill Rose here in '83. They put out Caught in the Act at the beginning of '84. Desert Moon came out in September of '84, and it was still on A&M Records. Both Dennis DeYoung and Tommy Shaw were still on A&M Records. JY was not. We'll talk about that when we get to JY's album, but wasn't released on A&M Records in September of 1984. And this actually did decently well. It went to number 24 on the album charts and had two charting singles off this album. And it went gold in Canada, but not in the US. So, again, just kind of talking a little bit about the downward trajectory of Styx and its related members. Really, there wouldn't be any major successes coming out of any of the Styx members' releases up until about 1990. We'll talk about Styx had a fairly decently selling album that year, basically because of one big hit. And also, one of its members who didn't happen to be on that album had a fairly popular side project also released in 1990. So the latter half of the 80s is a bit of a dry spell for popularity when it comes to Styx and their related members. But there's a lot of albums that came out in the latter half of the 80s, which we'll be talking about here in the next few months on the channel. We're going to cover it all, folks. We're
That's
going to do
right.
it all because, I mean, I think it really will emphasize how long of a period of time Styx didn't really do much of anything. Between 1984 and 1999, they put out one album, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But there was a lot of solo projects that came out in that time period as well. Think about just all the albums that we reviewed so far coming out pretty much back to back to back to back to back. We've been doing this show for about 6 months now, and we've covered all of those albums that came out in the span of what the first album was 72, 72, I
Mhm.
guess, 72 to 83. So 11 years. They put out over 10 albums in those 11 years. Then you turn to the next 11 years and they only put out one. And so we'll be talking about a lot about that, what kind of a time period this was for Styx. And this is really a interesting way to start, let's say,
Yeah.
because this album is in one way reflective of a lot of the reasons that Styx is not putting out albums at this point, but also was very much an album of its time.
True. Yeah, it's very, very dated. Um, in my opinion, it's not all terrible. There are some shining spots on this album, but yeah, I don't go back to this album hardly at all. As a matter of fact, I had to write notes because I haven't listened to this album in probably 20 years. I mean, of course, we know the big hit single off that. I hear it quite often. Um, but yeah, I mean, Kerrang gave it a favorable rating, just as favorable. All Music gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Rolling Stone gave it 3 out of 5. So
Oof.
they rated this album higher than any Styx album so far. So
That
interesting
tells you
there.
all you need to know about Rolling Stone magazine.
Exactly. I mean, there's actually we got a Jimi Hendrix cover on this album. Of course, Suzanne DeYoung has backing vocal credits for one of these songs as well. He's got included. I love the fact that he loves his wife. Don't get me wrong, I do. But it's like it gets to the point where like Roger Waters talking about his father and Pink Floyd all the time. And Dennis writes all these songs about his wife, which I said is cool, but we know you love your wife, Dennis. We get it, man. So, with that being said, let's get into the first song on this album. Don't Wait for Heroes. What do you got on this one?
Yeah, so like you talked about, you had to take notes because you hadn't heard this album in a long time. I've never heard this album full through.
Oh,
This is my first time listening to the
yeah.
entire album. Of course, there's at least one song we'll get to that I do know off this album. I did recognize a couple other ones, but yeah, I have never actually sat down and listened to this entire album, which will be a recurring theme when we get, especially to a lot of the uh, deeper solo albums that we're going to get to. But yeah, so this was an interesting experience. We get to the first song, "Don't Wait for Heroes." Just by the reputation of this album, I'm sitting here clenching, waiting, just waiting for it. This is a decent pop tune. This is a decent 80s pop tune, in my opinion. It fits Dennis's style very well. And then you get the ending. What the fuck is up with that ending? Man, I'm like, okay, this is a cool tune. I can dig this. I can dig this. And then the last 30 seconds, and it's just like, yep, Dennis, yeah, can't finish it out. Sorry to tell you. But overall, pretty decent tune, decent way to open the album. And then the last 30 seconds are a bit of an omen of things to come, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those really, like we talked about being dated. This is really, really dated. As a matter of fact, this is like an 80s montage song. You hear a like
Mm-hmm.
Karate Kid when they're doing the training. You can
Yeah.
fucking hear the song like this,
Even the title,
this
Don't
song.
Wait for Heroes.
Exactly. Perfect montage song, in my opinion. It has some decent harmony vocals. He's trying to recapture those magical sticks harmonies with whoever he's got with them. And it's almost there, but it's just missing JY and Tommy's harmonies, in my opinion, man. Loaded with fucking keyboards, which is a Dennis DeYoung album, so you're gonna expect that. But man, this song just does not do much for me at all. This is a pass for me. And you're right, those last 28 seconds or whatever, woo, man, come on, dude. What were you thinking there? But, you know, I'm not Dennis DeYoung. But as far as a fan of
Yeah.
Sticks, this is
Well,
definitely a
we'll,
no
we'll
for me.
talk about that through this time. There's a lot of those like really weird, cheesy, like what were you thinking
Yeah.
moments with some of these songs, like these random like vocals, and it's just like, dude, no.
All right. All right. So let's move on to the next song, which is called Please, with actually a duet with Rosemary Butler. I think she was in some kind of rock band. I can't remember what it was. But
Yeah, I don't really
anyway,
know
what do
much
you got on
about
this
her.
song?
Yeah, I don't really know much about Rosemary Butler. I didn't really give it much of a glance, but I think this song has a really cool opening riff. It's a decent tune. It's again, it's kind of nothing I'd really go back to, but it for what it is, it's a decent pop tune. It was kind of in the middle of gotta have a duet. Everybody has to have a duet on their albums. You got what George Michael and Aretha Franklin doing a song.
Yeah.
You got this. You got like at middle of the '80s, everybody had to do duets. That's just kind of what you did. And Dennis DeYoung, thinking he's more than he is, had to do a duet on his album. Uh, it's whatever. It's nothing special, but it's not. It's a lot better than some of the other stuff on this album. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean it's not awful. It's got a pretty cool guitar riff in the beginning. It's faster paced. I do like Rosemary Butler's vocals. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
very nice duet. I mean, but you said it's nothing special, nothing great. Um, I think that the guitar kind of, as I said early, is more guitar than well, no, I take that back. There is a lot of keyboards in it, but there is a lot of guitar in this song, which I do like. But yeah, it's just a middle of the road track. Doesn't really do. I do. This has been like an earworm for me over the last 20 years. This is one of the songs that I do remember, and it's sometimes painful, but it's not a terrible song. So I'll just leave it at that. Oh God, here we go. The next song. Wow. Boys will be boys. Holy crap.
Yeah, yep, and the shoe drops. This is what everyone had been warning me about. Um, yeah, no, this is garbage. Like this is actual garbage. I don't think that there's a song on Kilroy Was Here this bad. Like That's where we're at, folks. You heard what we said about that album. I don't think there is a song on that album as bad as this. What was he thinking, man? Like, this is this is even more left field than like the stuff he had been doing. Like, this is up there with Music Time. Like, this
I was gonna
really
say that.
is.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
really is on like the same level of just like what was going on in his head to write and release this song. This is awful. Like, this I would say this is easily the worst song on the album.
Yeah, I agree. This is I would, I would say this song's I would actually prefer Music Time on this
I
album than this
might,
one, to be
yeah.
honest with you. I mean, you got the corny whistle, "Hey girls." I mean, you got kind of a Dennis DeYoung rap, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. I don't know what you call it. But man, this is a corny, corny fucking song. The lyrics are so they're almost un-Dennis. Well, no, they are kind of Dennis-like, but I just don't get this song, man. It's fucking weird, dude. You got some kids singing in it, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the ba ba bow bow. It's like, oh God, what is the song? I don't get what you're doing here, Dennis. But you're trying to recreate high times there with the bow bow stuff, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's going on here. It has a pretty decent guitar, so I'm trying to find the highlights of this song. And it's very, first of all, it's 5 minutes and 41 seconds long, which is
Uh-huh.
fucking painful. But the guitar solo is kind of good. But other than that, this song is complete garbage. And I'll probably get eaten up. I mean, so far people have agreed with us, like as far as the bad part of Sticks, at least on the YouTube channel. So hopefully, I'm sorry if you guys like this song. I just think this song is garbage, plain and simple. So let's just leave this shit behind here and go on to the next song, which is a Jimi Hendrix cover, which I mentioned earlier. Fire. What do you got? Fire, fire, fire. What do you got on this one, man?
Dennis DeYoung covering Jimi Hendrix would be like Sammy Hagar covering Led Zeppelin. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Um, why? Like, what possessed Dennis DeYoung to think, oh, you know who I should cover? Jimi Hendrix. Maybe when he was in Styx, when he had two amazing guitar players in the band, not when he has a guy who literally doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page. Like, that's like when I first saw that this was a Jimi Hendrix, that there was a Jimi Hendrix cover on this album, I thought to myself, why? Like, it's just so confusing. And musically, it's fine. I mean, it's not Jimi Hendrix, but musically, it's fine. The guitar is proficient enough, I guess. But Dennis just doesn't pull this off at all. Like, it's what if somebody did Jimi Hendrix as an 80s pop song? And I don't think the world needed to hear that, in all honesty. I really don't think it was a good idea.
Well, after suffering through that last song, anything would be better. And this is a little bit better, in my opinion, than the last song. It's he still kind of has a bluesy feeling like Jimmy did. I'm not saying he sounds like Jimmy at all, but there's a kind of bluesy element that Dennis adds to the song, which I like. I think the guitar work is good. Um, I would trade this song over the first three songs any day of the week, in my opinion. Yeah, this could be like a Wooden Nickel cover on
Mm-hmm.
an album. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
I would
think.
I would much rather hear them do this with Tommy and JY, or with
Yeah, or even
JY
with
and
John
JC.
and
Yeah.
JY. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, as for the last three songs, I will take it. That's all I'm going to say about it. All right, then we move on to the big hit on the album, which I'm sure everybody knows. This one, Desert Moon. What do you got on it?
Yeah, this was a top 10 hit. It was a number 10 hit. Um, I think this is a pretty cool tune. I think this is right in Dennis's wheelhouse with the kind of slow ballady type song. Um, it wouldn't be his last hit with a slow ballady song. There would be one more in a couple years that's a
Yeah.
much bigger hit. Um, but I think it's a decent tune. I don't think it's bad. I'll take it over the last couple that he wrote with Styx. I'll say that. I'll take this over basically any of the ballads off of Cornerstone or Kilroy Was Here. Um, it's not the best of times. I'll say that. I'll put the best of times over it. But
Yeah.
any of his ballad songs off Cornerstone or Kilroy was here, this is better. I will say that. It's not an all-time classic or anything, but for what this album is, it's definitely one of the better tracks in my opinion.
I actually love this song. I've always loved this song. I remember the video in the 80s, you know. Have you ever seen the video?
Mm-mm, no.
Oh, okay. It starts out, it's kind of a movie-ish type of thing. He goes back to his hometown, and of course, he reminisces about his wife. She's actually in the video in a form of slides as they're looking through it. It's kind of a nice video. Um, but the song, like I said, I've always liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought Dennis's vocals were awesome on it. I like the
Mm-hmm.
ambience of the keyboards actually in this song. And I like the guitar solo, man. This guy, Tom DeZilialo, I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but he does the best he can as far as what he can do with this guitar work. And he's actually kind of he's an arranger. He plays just the drum program, the bass guitar. So he's part to blame for this album, good and bad. But yeah, I mean, I always thought it was a really nice, beautiful song. I mean, like I said, it's one of the only songs that I've heard in this the last probably this century. I've not heard this album in a long time. But yeah, I dig this song. It was a hit. It was a pretty big hit for him. And I don't know what else more to say. I mean, we both like the song. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we move into Suspicious.
Oh, everyone run for cover. The Kilroy keyboards have returned.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Cool guitar work actually on this song, but the song itself is just not good. Not good. Um it's yeah, not a great song. It was around this point in the album where I came to the sudden realization, wait, I'm gonna have to pick 3 songs off this album, aren't I? Just I don't know if we've officially said it yet, but in a couple weeks, Jerry and I are gonna be making an episode where we're taking the first 3 solo albums and making a Styx album out of them. And we're limiting ourselves. We have to pick at least 3 songs off every studio album
Yeah.
to put on the album just to make it fair. We can't just pick Desert Moon and be done with it.
Yeah.
We actually have to pick 2 other songs off this album. And it was around this point in the album where I said, geez, when are the other 2 songs gonna be? Because oh boy. Certainly not this one. I will probably say that. Yeah, no, the keyboards ruined this, even though it wasn't a great song to begin with. Like you said about one of the earlier songs, at least the guitar works kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember Tommy's show. I remember watching the Behind the Music with Styx, where Tommy was saying, we're going into Manilow territory." Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, he went into Manilow territory here, in my opinion.
Oh no! Manilow is better than this. That's the worst thing I've ever heard someone say about Barry Manilow.
I mean, this is like music, elevator music, man. Which
Mm-hmm.
back in the day was terrible, as far as in my opinion. Nowadays, because I'm old and they're playing some of the songs that I liked on elevators
Mm-hmm.
now. So, but at the time, man, this is just so pathetic, man. Boring. Nothing really great to talk. Even the harmonies, like again, they try to get those sticks harmonies. It just does not work. I would
Mm-hmm.
struggle to say this is filler. It's terrible, in my opinion. I just do not like this song. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah.
Trying to find 3 songs on this album. I actually did, and well, I got 2 for sure. The third one's probably I'm going to be oh racking my brain over. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, then we move on to Gravity. No.
Yeah. This song just sounds like carnival music. I don't know what it is, but there's just like this carnival vibe to it in the music, especially. And then the lyrics. Dennis DeYoung has written some good lyrics, like in the past. Like he actually can write very good lyrics. Um, this is not one of them. I think this would be some of the worst lyrics I've ever heard him write. I couldn't even like. There's usually times where I'll pull some lyrics, um, just to be like, okay, here's a great example. I couldn't even just like it was just look up the lyrics to this song because every single lyric in this song is just trash. It's weird lyrics, but it's also like it's all like cliches and stuff, and it's just not good, not good. Keeping up the pattern of just not good on this album. So yeah.
Air side out with him singing Gravity keeps pulling me down for like an hour, it seems like, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, just a weird, another corny as hell song, in my opinion. But for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, I don't hate this song. God help me, it's kind of an earworm, man. I don't say I love it by all means, but I guess I'm just trying to reach for some good stuff off this album, and maybe I'm just being desperate, but I don't hate this. I don't love it. Don't get me wrong. If I had to rate it out of five, I'd probably give it maybe a 2.5 out of five. But I'll take this as far as a better song on this album. But
Well, you can have it.
yeah, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I do. It's like I shouldn't like it, but I do for some reason. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's just okay. So then merciful, I mean not mercifully, or maybe we come to the end of this album, which dear darling, I will be there.
Mhm. So this was the third and final single from the album, and it failed miserably. Uh, Desert Moon was a top 10 hit. Don't Wait for Heroes went to like 93, I think. So it wasn't really, it didn't do much. And then this one didn't even chart in the top 200. Um, this song sounds like a generic commercial for a yacht rock compilation album. Like, I really haven't heard Styx or Dennis DeYoung do much that I would consider yacht rock, but this sounds like Dennis DeYoung heard a Christopher Cross album and said, "Ooh, I like that." Um, yeah, just another kind of generic Dennis DeYoung ballad, but with like a yacht rock twist to it this time. It's preferable over some of the worst Dennis DeYoung ballads. I'll take this over First Time or probably even Babe, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it's just still another just generic Dennis DeYoung ballad, and this one failed big time.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. It's just it's a Dennis DeYoung album, so I'm not surprised it ends with a ballad.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, as I said earlier, we know you miss your wife. We know you love your wife, Dennis, and you know what? That's great. But
give it a
okay,
rest.
enough is enough. And just like Roger Waters with his father, we know you're pissed off your father. You didn't get to know your father. I get it, but oh yeah, this song is just late. It's almost lazy sounding. There's just nothing that I can grab hold of and say that I like about it. There's no great guitar work. There's the lyrics are just typical Dennis talking about his wife. The music, I don't get it. Don't like this. A horrible way to end this album, in my opinion. And dear darling, mercifully, this album is over with. That's what
Hmm.
he should have wrote to his wife.
Yes.
All right, so that is our review of Dennis DeYoung's first solo album, Desert Moon. I'm sure Joe doesn't own this in any
I
form
do
of
not.
I haven't owned
I
just
was
about
gonna buy it. They put like all that one company that puts out a bunch of those like dual pack CDs and stuff. I have like
right.
some April Wine CDs from them. But they have a Dennis DeYoung pack. They have a Tommy Shaw pack. I might get the Tommy Shaw pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have. I think it's
I'm gonna
Girls
have to
with
do that.
Guns and Ambition in a pack together.
Ah,
Um,
cool. I may get that. I don't have any of their CDs. All on
yeah,
vinyl. All
I
their
think it's. I think they have the first two Dennis DeYoung albums together. I know they have the first two Tommy Shaw albums together.
yeah.
But yeah, that's for like both with like $16 or something like that for two CDs together. I'm probably gonna pick the Tommy Shaw one up, but yeah, this is this was an album.
It was an album.
um, I unfortunately this is kind of a sad way to kick off the 6 solo album coverages that we're going to be doing, but we'll see. Next week we're going to be covering Tommy Shaw's Girls with Guns, so we'll see if that picks up anything. I'm hoping. I'm
Spoiler
banking
alert,
on
it will
I'm
compared to
banking on
this
Tommy.
album.
I'm banking
Yeah.
on Tommy to pull us up a little bit. So yeah, so we'll be covering that next week or next episode. And then after that, we'll be doing James Young City Slickers. And then we'll be making an album of all three. What would a Styx album released in 1986 look like?
Right.
Spoiler alert.
And
Probably
yeah, it
the
was just a
the
weird
same as a Styx album
yeah.
released in 1982.
Yeah, it was a weird time for me as a Styx fan because they pretty much had just after these first three albums went away from me for a long time. For not a long time, just for a few years until 1990. Then I went back and re-listened to a lot of these solo albums, and some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't a huge fan of this one, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, it was definitely missing some Styx in my life at that time because we were getting a lot of uh, the hair metal, whatever you want to call it, was coming out, and Styx kind of you know were forgotten, I think, by a lot of people. Not me because I was a huge fan of them, but it was nice to see them eventually get back together. Which will I'm kind of rambling here because I kind of Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. I'm thinking about giving away spoilers. I don't want to do that. Anyway, that was our Desert Moon review, and hopefully his next album, Back to the World, will be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see when we get to that. Anyway, Joe, anything else?
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a fun time to start covering some of these albums that I have not heard really before. So I'm excited because almost everything that we've done so far, I was very familiar with. The Wood and Nickel stuff, it was kind of revisiting, getting a new appreciation for. But then, of course, all the A&M albums I knew front to back. This is really the first time I'm getting some really new material here, and I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see how it goes before we eventually kind of circle back around to the later era of Styx, the stuff that I am again more familiar with, the last couple Styx albums. So yeah, I'm excited. It should be fun.
Yeah, forgive my rambling earlier. I was going to try to give away a lot of spoilers. I didn't want to do that. But anyway, thank you all for liking, subscribing, watching our videos, comments, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Hope you guys like what we did because we like doing it. And check both of us out. We're on craniumradio.com. He is Joe Staub's Garage, 9 till midnight Sunday nights. And I am on Tuesdays from 4 to 7. These are all Eastern time. 4 to 7 Eastern with the Three Shots Down experience. All right. Thank you all very much. We'll see you the next review. Tommy Shaw's Girls with Guns. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.